What's up, guys? Welcome back to another HERR Lounge podcast. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you to everyone who came out to this weekend's market. The other one was a private one, but at the Ion, it was great to see a lot of you guys there. So thank you for coming out and support. I really appreciate that. And thank you guys for also being patient with me last week. Not only was the audio echoey, but remember, I was having to record those at my house, and we don't have it set up 100% to kind of do a podcast. So Rob kind of just had to let me do what I needed to do, and that's why we're back to normal this week. So if it sounds good, that's why, because we're back to normal.
Whatever that is these days.
Yeah, exactly. Because why would we start this podcast without a positive quote? And here it goes. It goes a little something like this. When you can't control what's happening, challenge yourself to control the way you respond. That's where your power is.
I think you and I have been talking about that for a long time. And every time something happens, you're like, I'm really not doing that, am I? Like I'm overreacting. It's not overreacting. So what is it? It's maybe reacting, harshly or.
Yeah, I don't really know what it is. But sometimes whenever when we have conversations, I'm always like, you're like, it's okay to feel that way. Yeah, I'm trying not to feel a lot of these ways right now. You know what I'm saying? So I need to do better. I do need to control it better.
Well, Sol came in here talking about all kinds of interesting things. So, Sol always guides the conversation, obviously. So I'm looking forward to what you want to kick this off with. Because you've had, March, it's only the 13th, but the first 2 weeks of March have been a doozy. Right?
Yeah, for sure. Got my extensions back.
I saw that. I like it.
I'm feeling that was one positive thing.
Might be the only positive thing.
Yeah, exactly. And that wasn't going to happen. It was really supposed to be, I think it was Monday after podcasting that I thought I was going to do, that I was going to go get my hair done afterwards. And then my cousin wasn't.
Your cousin still doesn't?
Yeah.
She does?
She canceled because she was called into work. And obviously my little measly $100 that she charges me was not going to be worth.
Dang, that's a plug right there.
Yeah, for sure. This is like a $500 deal at a hair salon.
Yeah, at least.
So yeah, she charges me $100 plus whatever the sticky stuff to stick it on charges or costs, whatever. And then she canceled, and I had content day on Tuesday, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" So then she calls me and says, "Hey, I can get you Tuesday morning before I go into work in the afternoon." I said, "Oh my God, but my content time is at 1 p.m." She goes, "Cool, I'll be there at 9." I was like, "Okay." So literally, it was doing my hair. Content with Ilse. Luckily, we finished right before it, but Ilse, who in the last almost 3 years that we've been working together, has never been late. And it was funny because my mom instinct kicked in and she just got a Tesla. So I thought, oh my God, something happened. Maybe
she put it on self-driving.
I started thinking all these bad things because it was already 1:10 and she wasn't at my house. And I was like, we did the content at my house on that day. And I was like, that's really weird. I'm like, I don't want to text her. Like, bitch, why are you texting me? Checking up on me, And so I was like, okay, how much longer do I wait? And then it was 1:20. And I just said, hey, I just wanted to make sure everything's okay with you. Nothing happened. And she's like, yeah. She's like, why? I'm like, well, remember we had content day? She's like, holy shit, I'm sorry, that was Thursday, but she changed the day. We changed the day from Tuesday, but she forgot to change the time on her thing. Mm-hmm. So she thought it was still at 2:00. Luckily, she doesn't live too far from me. So she's like, I'm on my way right now. She's like, I was literally sitting in my living room, just editing some stuff for my clients and just killing time until it was time for me to leave to go to you. And I was like, and I know, and Pete was kind of telling me you're not her mom. You don't need to be, but it's my mom instinct kick in. I'm all like, man, maybe something happened. I do that with Luisa too, because she's never late. So when she's like, it's a ongoing thing. Now she makes it just on time because she's so close to my house. She doesn't leave extra super early like she had to before because she was driving such a distance to this house. And since she doesn't take the freeway, it was all back roads. So it took her a whole hour to get here. So she would leave super early. I know. And it was a 25-minute drive. It'd take her an hour because she does not do the freeway.
Funny enough, with Houston traffic, it might have taken her an hour anyway.
Yeah, now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you know that on the days that I have to go work at the Hive, I don't have to be there till 11, Rob? If I leave past 10:15, I'm not making it there by 10:50, 10:55.
It's just a rule of thumb to leave an hour before you got to be anywhere in the city.
Isn't that not crazy though?
And crazy enough, apparently it's not that bad, say the people from, California and other states. We're like, this is nothing.
We've had traffic, but not like this. We didn't used to have traffic this bad. And trust me, I did corporate America for many years, driving from Katy all the way to Greenspoint. So I know traffic. And I do not recall it being this awful. I hate it. Now what I do is I take Shepherd a gazillion lights to get to the hive. Yes.
Really?
To avoid it's faster, Rob, believe it or not. It is faster through Shepherd than for me to jump on 610 to get to the hive.
Dude, nothing annoys me more than a stop sign and a stoplight.
The only good thing about it is that for a good long while on Shepherd, you don't have no lights. It's usually only when you get to where there's stores.
Yeah.
That's where the lights are. Then you kind of go all the way it's a good while before you hit stoplights. But I've started to go down Shepherd because I was over it. I'm not sitting. I get down, I get back up, I get down, I get back up. I get so frustrated. I mean, I can't stand it.
Dude, you know what's funny too? We're sitting here and I'm like, you know what? It's nice to be back to a semi-normal Monday because you and I haven't recorded on a Monday probably this month because of just the way things have transpired.
Yeah, I know. I told Pete something like, sorry guys, I know that Friday's episode was public to everyone. That was because my husband was trying to help me and he was trying to be helpful by me not being more overwhelmed than I was and, not figuring out how I was going to be able to make it to all you guys. I technically was supposed to work at the store.
Friday?
And I had to pay someone to go work for me because I was like, I got to get a podcast for these people. I still need to get my stuff ready for Saturday's event. So
he was going out of town.
And he was leaving out of town that day.
Oh, he left Friday. Duh, right? It was 8-hour drive.
Mm-hmm. And so, because we thought about it. We're like, damn, if you leave the day of, what time are you leaving? 6 a.m? He'd had to have left by 5:30 in the morning to at least make it to Odessa and nap before, the show. So we're like, this doesn't make sense. You're going to have to leave the night before. So technically, it was like, hurry up before he has to go. And then he was going to take to avoid me spending any more time so I can get here. He took Penny to swim for me, and then they took off. And then Penny comes back with pink eye from swim class, y'all. So now my daughter has pink eye till this day. It is the most awful thing ever. My hands are so dry from where I wash them so much. Every time I have to touch her eye, it's awful. If it's not hand sanitizer, it's washing my hands, hand sanitizer. I mean, it's constant. I tried to do gloves, but it's the same thing. You got to throw up. I bought a box of gloves.
Right.
I went through half of it already because every time I have to clean her eye, I got to put a new one on. So I was like, it's just easier for me to go wash my hands than to go get another thing of gloves. And
well, knowing you, is that why you don't have eyelashes on?
Let me tell you what happened by my eyelashes.
I was gonna say, don't touch your eyes. You're always fucking with your eyes.
Listen, I couldn't watching her every time. I would go and wash my eyelashes again, and so I pretty much. That's why I have an appointment after here. I pretty much washed them off because her eyes just the way they were goo. I was like, oh my God, my eyes hurt. What if I have? I mean, we're talking about I have fake eyelashes. If I get pink eye. Bro, I am effed so bad, so bad. So I was like, oh my God. So as soon as I was done washing my hands, I'd go upstairs and I have this pump for my eye and a little brush that you use to wash your lashes. I'd be up there and I'd wash them hose. I wash my hands. I was so scared. I literally washed my eyelashes off. When I go today, she's going to be like, well, it's going to barely be 2 weeks that I went.
You just look at her and be like, hey, I've been having a lot of fun, if you know what I'm saying.
It was and it's funny because Penny had been wanting to play pie face. And so I would only play from this part up. So my mouth and this part I was like, girl, I can't mess with my eyelashes. I thought that's what gave her pink eye.
Pie face?
From the whipped cream. I thought maybe bacteria, you know what I'm saying? Because it's, it's got milk or whatever got in her eye. And I didn't think it was possible to get pink eye from the pool. And you can. And it's because even though it's they clean it and it has chlorine and all that. People still pee in it. You do all that. And she doesn't wear goggles.
I was just talking about that, or thinking to myself. I didn't say this out loud because spring's here. Obviously, it's getting hot. The water.
No, not today. What the?
Well, you're right. It's 50 to 59 degrees today. I walked outside. I was like, "What the hell?"
I was wearing shorts, Rob.
Yeah, I was like, "I'm gonna get sick." That's the first thing that comes to mind. Like, I'm gonna get sick because I'm super Mexican like that. But no, my sister and my brother-in-law, like everybody loves fishing. Don, the kids, they all love fishing. Or well, not Weston, but Brooklyn and Don and my brother. Weston and I will just go like sit on a bench and talk about video games while they're fishing, or after we finish playing practicing baseball. But I was just thinking to myself, because everyone's like, everybody get ready for the river, or the river and the lake and the fishing. And in my head, I'm like, I hate all these dirty ass bodies of water. And then you saying this about pools. That's why I hate public pools. Like going to that place in Katy, like the Splash, whatever the hell,
Typhoon,
right?
yeah.
All those places. Like, every time I go, I'm like, one, I'm not a great swimmer. I'm gonna die eventually if I go in too deep of water. And two, it's just so filthy, man.
It is
so filthy.
If you really think, whenever I was reading, because Luisa she and I were kind of not arguing, but like kind of debating. I'm like, no, I really think it was the pie face, and she was like, no, I really think it was the pool. And the reason I thought it was the pie face was because we played it yesterday, and then she played it in the morning with her before she went to swim. And then all of a sudden she goes to swim class and comes back and has pink eye. That's a pretty fast process.
Bro, this is my most recent story. We went to the beach probably before the whole governmental lockdowns happened. We went to Galveston. Probably one of the dirtiest places you could go where there's a body of water. Am I lying?
Facts.
Right, facts, right?
God.
So Don wanted to go take the kids, play in the sand, whatever. I'm like, okay. I'm always trying to just keep a smile on and do things you don't want to do. And when Weston, we were at that little Daiso place, or the Japanese marketplace at one time we all went on Highway 6.
Yeah.
What's it called?
It is called
Daiso? Right. So you and Penny were shopping around, and then Don and I and Weston were like where Chingo was with. Actually, you had Sonny, he had Penny. Don said something, and Weston was like, I don't want to be here. And I was like, dude, sometimes you got to be a good sport about things, right? He's like, what does that mean? I was like, you're going to have to do things that mommy wants to do that you just don't want to do. So I said something to that effect about, being at the beach. Anyway, long story short, I only got into like ankle deep into the water because the kids were there, and the whole time I'm like, bro, just keep a good attitude. Like it was hot. I didn't want to fucking be there. There's so many people. It was like summer of 2019 before the fucking world shut down. We get home, and then later that night, I wake up in the middle of the night. My foot is on fire. I go to the restroom, and I got good flexibility. I just dump my foot into the sink and start running cold water over it. And I'm like, what is going on? And I see it's like inflamed right at the bed of the nail, like at the top of the cuticle area or whatever. And it is on fire. And I'm fully awake now at this point. It stung so bad that I was like awake. It was like 1 a.m. Like Don's asleep, and I was in there for a hot minute, just running freezing water, spraying shit like Neosporin and shit on it. And I could see that it was like bubbling up. So it was bacteria, right? So I go and lay down. I tried to go and lay down after I kind of felt like it went away. And she was like, what's wrong? I was like, no, nothing. 5 minutes later, I'm back up. I'm at the sink with my foot in the fucking sink, and it finally wore down. I found some like other like cream to put on it.
Yeah.
The next day, I wake up and it is fucking just like it's the size of my thumb on my big toe. And it finally started draining, right? So I had an appointment with Dr. Jeremy like a few days or a week later, and I showed him, and he was like, yeah, that nail's gonna die. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, it's like, it's infected or whatever. It took 3 years for that nail to grow back. And I just let that bitch grow out, and then I would cut it, and that fucking nail fell off. It was some kind of bacteria that was in the water.
Isn't that crazy?
Disgusting and so painful.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch. That sounds painful. If you got up in the middle of the night.
I know.
On fire.
Dude, it was the worst. So, and I didn't even tell, honestly, I don't think I told Dawn until like a month or two later. I didn't want to bother. I thought I forgot about it, and I dealt with it myself. And she's like, "You always do this. Like something happens, and you don't tell me when it happens, right?"
You're like, I also didn't want to gross you out.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to gross you out. And dude, it was the worst. And anytime like she mentions stuff like that, she knows. She's like, "I know you don't want to go because you think all the water's dirty." And I was like, "It is dirty," and I lost a toenail because of it. So when Chingo talks about his fucking nail that the Discord always roasts him for, in my head, I'm like, I had that same thing happen a couple years ago.
Well, Dr. Jeremy told him, because he told Dr. Jeremy about it, which we have an appointment coming up.
Gotta get checked.
An annual,
gotta get checked.
And then after what our friend is going through, I was like, I haven't scheduled one this year, and we need to hurry up and go.
Yeah.
So Dr. Jeremy told him, damn, what did he say? I think he was trying to send him to another doctor.
So like what do you call it? A podiatrist?
Yeah, I think so. I forgot what he told him. And honestly, as sad as this sounds, it was just time.
Yeah.
And now he knows that if he gets this taken out, he's going to miss jiu-jitsu. And so now that's what's holding him back from going. So I said, you're going to be out for a little bit because you see how Jeremy jiu-jitsu is too.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like I remember like when I first started doing jiu-jitsu, I never forget, like I was like, this is so disgusting. We're just like touching feet and I just kind of feel weird about feet. And so I was like, all the feet that are on here, we're just like feet loving each other in here. And I'm just like, oh my God. So they have the hand sanitizer pumps like right at the corner of the mat. And so immediately it was like
just bathing them. Just
right
shit.
before I even would put on my sandals, because I was like, I'm not taking that shit to my house. I'm like, ugh. They're really good about cleaning. That's what I like about it. Sometimes I wish they'd like clean faster.
Clean the mats faster? You want them to do it in between rounds or what?
Well, because it's like they're wet sometimes, and I hate that feeling because they clean it right before a class. And so sometimes it's still wet from where they went in and cleaned before the next class.
Dude, you and I are so super weirdos about feet, right? I know that we are, but like...
Look, my toes right now are going like this inside my shoe. It's awful.
Well, I follow so many old friends that are jiu-jitsu nuts, right? My wife being one of them now, too. I'll get back into it. Don't worry.
Yeah, but I said I was going to get back whenever I lost more weight.
Okay, well, all right, fair enough, right? So, funny, Dr. Jeremy said he'd get back into it when I got back into it. This was a year ago. I was like, bro, you're lucky I'm not back into it yet. But anyway, I'll see all my old friends, and Dawn included. Everyone has their favorite pair of like combat slippers, basically, that they always wear to jiu-jitsu, and they just slide them off and they get on the mat or whatever. And Dawn has these too. And a lot of these people I'll see regularly, and I'm like, I know those sandals are filthy. I know you didn't wash these fucking sandals. And Dawn has these pair that I know she just wears all the time to jiu-jitsu, and I just can't help but feel like those need to be burned at this point. They need to be burned. You've worn them for so long to jiu-jitsu.
He got some new ones, and I saw, and I was like, oh, I know what happened. He forgot his probably and ended up having to go get some flip-flops from somewhere to get them because he wears the same ones every time. But me, before I put on my sandals, so, you know, even when I go to the cardio kickboxing class, it's barefoot. We don't have like shoes on.
Speaking of, I saw that spinning switch kick you were hitting the other day.
Ninja kick, baby. Okay. Y'all don't even know. Y'all think short people cannot jump, but we can, bro. My shit is high. And my sister's tall. It doesn't look at it because of the angle. I didn't bring my see, now I carry my stand in there because I record all my shit now. Y'all are not going to be ready for me. I'm going to get so annoying on social media because y'all are not ready. That's all I'm going to say. So I had it on against like my water bottle, but she's tall as balls. And when she's really like more like this, trying to hold at my level. And I'm really having to really make an effort to jump to get to even that level, because anything lower, she's just pretty much might as well get on her knees for me. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how much taller my sister is than me.
It's not a bad idea though, actually.
I probably would knock her down, you know? So anyways, it was funny because I was like, oh, and then I got to talk about something real quick, which just, and y'all gonna be like, if this girl does not stop talking about transgender, but I swear it's around me all the time. It's almost like a joke. Seriously, it's a joke. But anyway, that day I told my sister, I said, I want to, my sister doesn't really like for me to do that. And so I'm like, can I record us working out together? And she's like, I guess. I was like, I'll only do when we're doing the kicks. I said, nothing else. I was like, I'll just do the kicks. I said, and I'll just do like the part when we're doing our ninja kicks. And she's like, fine. So it was funny because she was at a corporate event the day that I posted. I said, go look on my social media. She goes, I really can't right now. And she's like, I'm in a corporate dinner. And I was like, sorry, corporate dinner. I was like, but you should really check it out. I said, because you look so cool kicking. She kicks hard. Like, my sister kicks hard. And I told her, I said, you kick so hard. She goes, so do you. She goes, and you're like ant size. And I'm like, oh, you got jokes now. Okay. Want to clown me about my height. All right.
Just wrestle her next time. Like, see what your kicks do to that.
And I was like, man. But that same day of the video, guys, and I know y'all are thinking like, really, bro? Again? Okay. It's almost like a joke. So that day was a really small class. I don't know what was going on. But it usually, I notice that after there's a tournament, for some reason, our adult class is not full. It's really weird. I don't know if parents are like, "Oh, I was there all day this weekend. I'm not fucking with cardio class." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway, so that day it was my sister and I, and then these other 2 girls that are siblings as well.
Okay.
They're 2
That's
sisters. It was it. That was 4. And it's great because a lot of the cardio kickboxing is partner work. Okay. Mm-hmm. So it was like, cool, whatever. Well, then I am partnered up with the other girl, right? Because we switch. We kind of do a circuit. So she'll tell you, you're following this person. Da, da, da. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, and I'm such a fucking airhead sometimes. And I'm not a natural blonde. But she goes, all right. Okay.
Let's talk in codes.
Remember?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll remember. I'm going to write it down right now.
Okay. So anyway, this little
Rewind.
girl, yeah. So I partnered up with this little girl, and I swear to you, it just never ends like as though it always happens in my face. Anyway, So this little girl, right, already has a pretty unisex name, but decides to go with another, like a really more of a boy name. But when I heard her call her sister's name, I thought, oh, this is cool. You know what I'm saying? They both got such unisex names. The mom is such a genius. Like, you know what I'm saying? And you know why? Because I used to think it was always cool to have a unisex name because I thought, if my child is ever a doctor or a lawyer, they're going to think it's a man coming out of that office, and then they see this bad bitch come out the office. That's why I always thought that was cool. But then she just tells me like, and so I told her, oh, I said, isn't this cool? I was like, sisters against sisters today, right? It was like, y'all, she goes, yeah, but I'm transgender and I'm a boy. So I'm her brother. And I said, oh, okay. Got it. She goes, but my sister's mad at me right now. She's like, so can you just not bring it up to her? As if I'm going to go over there and talk to her. How do you feel about your sister becoming a boy? You know what I'm saying? Oh, here's the thing though, Rob. This is why I think this isn't not every child that identifies as whatever they want to identify. She has a very cute body. She's very developed. She's, I think, 14 and the sister is 16.
Whoa.
Both these little girls, and the mom brings them there to work out, drops their little asses off, and the brother is also in jiu-jitsu. So the mom is about them having some kind of, fitness in their life. Both the little girls, I'm not kidding you, have very cute bodies, like very developed. I feel I was trying to think if I was that developed at their age, but I don't think I was. But they both, and usually you have one or the other, right? Like there's not many of us like Dawn that have boobs and a butt.
Sure.
So, they have both.
So wait, so I get it straight. There is a brother. There's a third kid, right?
There is a third kid, but he's like a little boy. Like
Okay.
I think he's in the kids
program.
Yeah.
And then there's the sisters, but one's a trans and one's a girl.
One's the trans who says she's a boy, but they're 2 girls. So it's 2 girls.
Oh, bro. Okay, I'm so glad I asked. I thought you were getting kicked by a boy.
No. Because when I had said, "Oh, how cool is it today? Sisters against sisters."
Right.
She corrected me and said, "Yes, except I'm her brother." And I thought, okay, sorry, I didn't even know what to say about that. And I was just like, "All right." And I said, "Oh, I legit." I had no answer. I had no comment. I just said, oh, okay. She goes, yeah, but my sister's mad at me, so she's not talking to me.
So this is all kind of metaphorically, like not actually transitioned, right? They're still girls.
And that's why I'm about to tell you.
Gotcha.
I think hers, I even had to ask, like the owner said, because the owner is respectful enough to call her by her new name. Okay. Or his new name.
Not her dead name.
Yeah, not her dead name. And I said, and the only reason why I asked was because it kind of seemed like she was a little bit off. So I said, does she have any form of autism or anything like that? And she's like, I don't know. She's like, but I've noticed that a lot of children who have autism have been on this thing where they are starting to say they identify as something else. Mm-hmm. She's like, because of social media. She said, I've seen this trend. And I was like, that's interesting because she works with kids all day. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they have a big kids program there. I said, that's kind of interesting. And I was like, man, I need to look that up. Like in TikTok, of course, it's the perfect place for it. If you go on there, Rob, there are so many. And first of all, I don't even know how to work TikTok.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't even have that
so it's really
anymore.
hard to like work it.
The last time I was on it, it wasn't a very user-friendly app.
It's not, to me, it's not, but my sister evidently thinks it's like, duh, black and white. Like, it makes sense. My aunt is on it. Like, it's funny because her daughter, my cousin Jasmine, she said something. I was like, okay. I said something like, I'm like, yeah, I don't really know how to work TikTok. She's like, because I said, it's real complicated. My own cousin, who is way younger than me, Jasmine, said, yeah, I don't get TikTok either. I'm never on there. So she's still the Snapchat, Facebook, and Instagram person. She does not do
Snapchat.
TikTok. She still does Snapchat. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think I've done anything on Snapchat in a minute.
Years.
Like at all. But anyway, so she was saying that there's this trend. So then I go on TikTok. So if you search what did I do? Autism, transgender. I did transgender girl autism. That's all I typed in.
That was the hashtag or just a phrase?
I don't know. I just searched that.
Damn, it's a hell of a hashtag.
I mean, I just searched it on their search thing and a bunch of videos came up and it's little kids who have autism. Some of them have autism and they're kind of telling you their journey on how they're transitioning.
Wow.
And I thought, whoa, that's a whole new dynamic for me. I was not expecting that. You know what I'm saying? Like at all. So many parents also encouraging that, which I thought, wait a minute, like as it is dealing with autism, unless they're super high functioning, you know what I'm saying? That's a whole thing in itself. For you to add this new variable in there was really trippy to me. And there's a mom, I have to send you this account. Oh, wait, can you see it if you don't have the app on your phone?
Yeah, I think you can still play it on the outside, on the Safari window.
So I'll show it to you. And it's like the mom, I feel like the mom is the one feeding the little...
it's typically what it is, right?
Okay, she was a girl. She's a boy now. So the little girl or boy, whatever, the boy, I guess, like priming him to say, yes, this is how he's been feeling. And I just thought to myself, geez, mom, like you're going to die one day. And this child already is going to have so many like barriers because because he's a boy, he's transitioning to the boy. He's got already these barriers, like having to learn how to live independently, you know what I'm saying? Go grocery shopping. These are all things you have to teach them so that they can grow up to be adults. And you don't just put them in some kind of like place, you know what I'm saying? On top of that, now you're going to transition them, right? Because it didn't look like it was voluntary.
How old was this kid, if you had to guess?
I don't know. I'm going to say maybe like 12-ish,
Damn,
13.
That's crazy.
So I didn't know that was like a big thing. I mean, I know regular kids with no issues, but that part I was like, whoa. So I went down a rabbit hole and I was just like, this is insane. I should have discovered this rabbit hole. But my whole point to that was, because I didn't really want to get into this, was I was in shock when I saw that, because also this little girl looks like, I mean, she's got a cute little fucking body. Like she could wear whatever she wants. That's how cute she is. You know, she's got a booty, you know, she's got the right amount of boobs, not like really big, but just the right amount of boobs for her size. And, I mean, well, they work out. So, I mean, they're not like this like fit look, but they work out. So there's not like jiggly meat on them or anything like that, you know? So I was like thinking to myself, is the mom just kind of letting her say that she is, or letting her feel whatever she wants to feel, and eventually she'll like grow out of it? Because she's not even like a little bit, she's not even like tomboyish. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know how sometimes you can see it, if someone's a tomboy and they came to you and said that to me, I'd be like, okay, I could totally see where that was going, you know, but not this at all. The only thing she has that I guess might be, she's got like a really short haircut, but it's like old school. This is so crazy because I remember my teacher's name is Joplin, who had this haircut. It's almost like a mushroomy haircut.
Oh yeah.
But all her curls are at the top.
Yeah.
I had a teacher like that. Do you know what
I do know exactly what you're talking about. I don't know why I thought that was cute. I remember those hairstyles like back in the days. Yeah. And so that's her hairstyle. And it's curly. It's a pretty curl too. It ain't like a weird curl. I'm telling you, she's a cute little girl. Yeah. Her and the sister are cute little girls. And so
my sister and I joke around a lot while in class sometimes, because I'll tease her, or she'll tease me or whatever. And we'll be like, man, why are you dragging ass? Like stuff like that. And I'll be like, well, that's why you shouldn't have had this food. Or she'll tell me, well, that's why you shouldn't have done this or whatever. And so, but I noticed after she told me, she's like, yeah, my sister doesn't talk to me. Yeah, the sister doesn't even she walks in after her. I noticed I was like, oh, that's what's happening. She's mad at her sister, but I can only imagine, I started to think about this as I kind of analyzed them. We were cooling down. I mean, we go into this, they have a hot room at the jiu-jitsu place and,
like a sauna?
Yes, and she puts candles up there and you just kind of do the cool down, right? Mm-hmm. And so when I was thinking about this because you're kind of mellow and I'm thinking
it's like the end of a yoga class.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I thought to myself, okay, maybe for them, I'm not saying it's not hard for the moms or the parents, right? But I never really thought about the siblings, how the siblings feel because now it's they too have to kind of explain this to their friends, you know what I'm saying, that come over their house. You know what I mean? Unless you have a super supportive, I don't know, brother and sister, I can't imagine how much harder it is for them too. Especially right now, how kids are so mean to each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm curious. I so wanted to sit down with the sister, so bad and be like, would you like to be on my podcast? I totally would like to know your perspective of what's going on in your household right now.
But also sign this permission slip first.
Yeah, exactly.
Get your mom
also,
can
your mom come with you? Yeah. Because I don't want any trouble.
We also have questions for her.
Yeah, I would.
Of course.
And then, we assume that the mom's okay with it.
Right. No, I don't even know. I don't know if I assume. I guess I kind of assume that because if you're going to, okay, let me start. I love that you brought this up because I actually saw something on this recently too. And there's so many clips going around from a couple of other newer podcasts that are catching the algorithm wave where they're talking to people about this. And I think it's that At Whatever podcast, the white guy, the slow talking kind of casual white guy that's talking about he, thems, and theys and shit. And he had Michael Knowles on from the Daily Wire. And one of the girls was, she was trying to quote the Bible where God said, God gave, what did he say? God created he and her through them he created, and she reversed the sentence and was like, well, God said them, he created he, her, and them, and Michael Knowles was like, no, he said, and he rephrased it the way it says in the Bible is through them. You know how it's phrased, how it's worded. It's worded in a way old time speaky.
Thou
through them he created, he created them as in them too. When you talk to a group of people, it's them. He's like, no, I've met thems and theys. He's like, no, you haven't. You've met really confused men and some confused women, and it's this whole thing. And my point is that we all know a lot of people, and we also know that a lot of people are bad at things. And in my opinion, I know a lot of people that are bad at being parents, and we can't just give them the out that oh, they're letting their kid, they're letting them explore and be open to all kinds of things. No, they're just being bad parents. In my opinion, if you're listening to this and you're maybe going through this and you feel like you're doing a great job, you may think that, but I don't, that's just the way I think about it.
Yeah, I think, speaking of all that, I think that, so funny thing, I forgot who posted this whole thing on our Discord about Blair White, which I appreciate her because she's never really claimed she gets it that she'll never be able to have children. Do you see what I'm saying? She does all the things that make sense, right? But then I think it was Chris USA that posted it on our Discord, and it was someone talking shit about her because basically saying why are we okay with this? Why are we okay with this person saying that, they feel because I guess she was talking about adopting and, a surrogate and all that. She's like, why are we okay? Basically, she is a boy. She's a man. She's going to get to put her sperm in someone else. You know what I'm saying? They're going to take her sperm or his sperm.
What a sentence.
Right?
They're going to take her sperm
to do that. So technically, it is going to be her real biological child with whoever the surrogate is. And so she went on and then...
But it's going to be that kid's dad. It's not going to be that kid's mom.
Is it though?
Yeah.
Because she's dressed like a girl all the time.
That's fine.
So how confused... my point is like, how confused is that child going to be?
And that's my point too. Yeah. So when the gentleman from the Babylon Bee, I'm forgetting his name, was on Rogan. Oh no, it was Matt Walsh actually. Where the last 45 minutes of that podcast, Rogan pressed Matt on that subject of the gay people and the trans and the kids. And Matt might have made the point, or I might have read it later, that there's no short line of heterosexual couples that want to adopt kids. So why are we trying to cut those lines to give a trans couple or a trans whatever pair a kid to adopt, right? Or even make one through this weird kind of whatever. I guess it's still in vitro, right? Or whatever it might be called, or having a surrogate. I just don't. It doesn't jive with me. Like it's silly. It's not in my opinion. If you ask me, like, what's the point of having kids? That's why I don't have biological kids for a lot of reasons that maybe later we can all discuss. But if you're gonna make the choice to have kids, like I feel like that's detrimental to creating a kid, in my opinion.
And it's crazy because the same guy, they're not transgender, they're just a gay couple. What's his name? He sometimes goes with Jeffree Star. Oh man, Don, his last name's Don, I think, something. Dang it.
Are they like influencer people?
They're influencer. They're also YouTubers. I can't think of his name, and people probably listening like saying the name out loud. Anyway, so they're about to adopt. Okay. Or no, I'm sorry. They're doing I think in vitro. Is that when they find X amount of eggs that they can get or whatever? Is that correct?
I thought so.
I think so. Whichever system or whichever procedure it is where they'll tell you like, oh, you have 10 good eggs and 5 of them are girls, 5 of them are boys, or 2 of them are boys, whatever it is. Anyway, they were happy because I think they both did it. So he had like 3 girls, 2 boys or something. And he had 3 boys, 2 girls. Like it was the opposite, right? And someone, I forgot what account I follow, that said, isn't that crazy that they're deciding which ones they're going to kill off and which ones they're going to keep? And I thought, oh shit, I never really thought about it that way. Like, they are little eggs, right? Like, I'm like, wait a second. So how does that work? Like,
well, I guess they're not really, I mean, literally they're not eggs, right? 'Cause she has the eggs, but if we're talking about like, I guess they have the potential to be, right? That's always the argument, right?
Yes,
you're killing something off that has the potential to become.
And so I was like, okay. And so the whole thing behind the post was like, how easy is it that these people get to say, okay, you're going to get 2 boys and I'll get 2 boys, or you get a girl and they were kind of like saying who was going to get what, right? And they're like, there's so many women, biological women out there who even with in vitro and everything struggle to be able to have children. And they're like, they would never kill off just some kids. They would try to have as many as they could. That's why you'll see sometimes women with 4 or 5, they're just like, let it happen, see what happens, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, I never really thought about that shit. I was like, are they killing them off? They're just not growing them, right? I don't know. That was kind of like, literally my brain was like, it went like, you know how your hamster's going, it went backwards. Like, wait a second, is that killing off the embryo? Like,
well, it's like saying every time a guy jerks off, he's killing 10,000 of his future kids. You know, like that's exactly, I mean, yeah, you can make an argument for it, but we got to come down to reality at some point or another. Like we really do. Like I love having these whimsical conversations about like the what ifs and ands of some of these like which if you're a biologist other than my wife, you're probably screaming at the radio right now about some of the things we've already said. But I mean, come on, we got to get grounded a little bit. I think we've gotten a little too far into the ethereal kind of whoa, woo headspace, but come back down to earth if you're a round earther.
If you have not watched the Cat Williams special and the Chris Rock special,
I haven't.
You really should.
World War III, is that Cats?
Yes, and Cats is so great, but you know what's crazy is you don't hear as many laughs in the audience during his sets, and it's because I really feel people, it's going over their heads. They don't get it, where his analogies and his jokes and where it's going with it. But he fucking puts things in so black and white, and it's not picking any sides. He's kind of telling you with whatever side you're on, they're lying to you.
Dude,
if you're not doing your own fucking research, if you're not like, you have to watch that. And then you have to watch the Chris Rock one because he does abortion so great as well.
Bill Burr does an abortion one really good too.
Yeah, his is kind of
the cake one.
Yeah. His is his was pretty kind of like I'm for pro-choice because blah blah blah, and I have daughters and I would want for them to have choice. But the way he kind of puts it in there, it's like he's pretty much saying like he wouldn't kill like his kid, right? But you've got to watch it. I can't remember like exactly, but I remember thinking like, what a great fucking way to get people on your side.
Yeah. And
then you just fucking punch them in the face and be like, oh, you thought, but that wasn't where I was going with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This weekend at the pop-up as well, I managed to walk around, which I never get to do, but we were so hungry, Rob. Usually these markets have one or two people that are selling foods.
They always make a killing too.
And no one was selling it because it was inside of a building this time. So my sister and I...
No cafeteria or nothing?
The restaurants were closed.
Oh.
Because it was, I guess it was Saturday. I don't know. But it was funny because I told my sister, what were we thinking? Like, we really relied on, they always have food trucks, so we'll be fine. We'll eat there, right?
Yeah.
No, Rob, she was nice enough because she got to the house early while she was waiting for me. She goes, come and go to Starbucks and get us coffee. And she's like, and I thought she was just getting us coffee. Well, she got us each a croissant. Luckily, she got us that croissant because that's all we had all day. There was someone selling cupcakes there, so she decides to go get them. And it was the most hilarious thing ever because it was really good. We bit it. Same one cup. She bought 4 and she bit one. And so I was just like, bite it. It's really good. And so we had bought that because we wanted to eat, but it's so crazy that any other time I would have been like, fuck yeah, this shit is going down. But I wanted food to where a pastry tasted disgusting to me. Has that ever happened to you?
Not once.
I wanted food. I didn't like the sweet taste in my mouth. It was a churro cupcake, bro.
Ooh, that sounds delicious.
No, it was beyond delicious. I told my sister, I said, I know that this is good, but I don't know what the word is in English, Rob. Me empachó, like.
Yeah, I got you.
What is that?
Man,
What is that translation? Like indulge? Like, no, not indulge. Overwhelming. Like it was.
You were like basically like beyond satiated at that point, right?
Yeah. It was just like, it was good, but it was like, I'm so hungry. I want to taste like salt. Like I want food,
sure.
Like
something hearty.
Yeah. And I was just like, man, I can't believe I love I have to. This is my biggest downfall right now, guys. And that's me. I have to have a piece. And I told y'all, as a matter of fact, I was really pissed because I can't eat the sweet bread fast enough because I only eat halves. So I eat half with my coffee in the morning. Well, I noticed today, one of my damn pineapple empanadas started getting green because they're fresh.
Right.
So they're not like,
lasts a day or two if you're lucky.
Yeah. And so I'm like, oh, why do I do this every time? Because I think that I will finish them all, but I don't get to. So technically I could buy 4 pieces of bread. So technically what I need to start doing is just getting one each of my favorite and I'll have more than enough because I cut them in half.
Yeah.
So I'm like, damn it.
Do you put it back in the fridge? Do you put it in the fridge or you just leave it out?
No, I keep them in like a little cupcake thing. Yeah. So they're covered, but I guess I could put them in the fridge. Ugh, I don't know. But anyway, it was funny because that day of the pop-up, we had crawfish, Rob. Afterwards. Oh no, you don't like crawfish? No. This was so good. Man, my sister kept saying like, you got to try this place. You got to try this place. And I'm like, crawfish is so expensive. I'm like, but fine. Let's do it. I said, you go pick up the crawfish, bring it back to my house so I can go relieve my babysitter because she's been there a minute. So she brings it. It's like so delicious. But crawfish is not very much food. It's a lot of sucking and a lot of peeling and then just this little piece of tail. You know what I'm saying? And then they charge you an arm and a leg for every extra potato and sausage and corn that you want in there. So there went that. But anyway, it was funny because I was done and that was the only meal I had that day besides the thing. And then I looked at the sweetbread. I said, you know what? I fucking deserve that sweetbread. So I had a whole piece of sweetbread.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? I told my sister, I said, I bet you anything, I still didn't reach my calories because I had one meal that day.
Totally.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, I can't believe by the end of the pop-up, it was so funny. We were getting on each other's nerves. You know how you start to get like that whenever you're hungry?
Yep.
We were getting on each other's nerves. It was so funny because usually she and I are like, fine.
Yeah.
But we were both getting annoyed like, well, I don't know. Why don't you just put it up there? Okay, Marisol, but can you just bring it down? All right, I'm going to bring it down. You know what I'm saying? It was like, so
bruh,
we couldn't even think anymore.
And you can spot it in the moment, right?
Yes.
When you're doing that.
Yes.
This will happen when Dawn and I do anything, and I'm gonna put her on blast because she gets hangry. I, on a rare occasion, can get to the point where I'm so hungry that I'm gonna get like that snippy at her. But so I'll just call her every time, like, hey, you're getting a little too hungry, so I'm gonna need you to simmer down, right? And she'll be like, you're right, but we gotta get some food soon, right?
Pete is like that.
Yes.
I can hold off for a long time. He can't. And that's what I'm saying. So imagine that was I'd been up since 5:45 in the morning, all the way to, by that time it was 5 p.m. So all I had was coffee, and water.
And a bite of a cupcake, was it?
And a bite of a cupcake. It was really good, but just was not good at the time.
You know, I was going to say, had it been probably, what if it would have been one of the pan dulces that are on your table? It probably would have been more. No?
No.
Man, I was like, if you would have had a nice cheese Danish in front of you, you probably would have killed that with pleasure.
Man, maybe. I don't know. I love El Bolillo. That's who I'm trying to get me to. I want them to sponsor for Cafecito time. Because, bro, like, and then they're down the street from my house. That's the sad thing. 7 minutes from my house. So, but my thing is that, like, I have to have one every morning. But I was so done. I was, like, ready to just, like, eat food. We were getting on each other's nerves to where when she got there, I was like, oh, I got home and I had a piece of apple. Like, I was like, okay, she's got to hurry up with this food. Like, I'm like, but I also didn't want to mess up my appetite. I didn't want to grab chips or anything like that. So I grabbed an apple. And she got there. I'm like, damn, this is good. And I was like, and that crawfish was so damn good.
Bro, you know what's a good snack? The kids love them, and I actually introduced them to them because they have a kids version of is the Z bars. Mm-hmm. Oh my god! So there's like adult, like
Penny
regular Z bars.
loves them.
They have like they have the protein one, which isn't as good, and then they have like the kids Z bar, literally called Kids Z bar.
Yeah.
The iced oatmeal one. Oh my god!
Penny loves the
chocolate chip.
Brownie.
Bro, the brownie one's good.
The brownie. She loves that.
Yeah. So word to the wise to the parents, if you want to get those as a snack, they're on the healthier side, and they're like only 140 calories and pretty satiating.
Yeah, they're pretty damn good.
Also kind of expensive, but they're good.
Yeah, they are. I'm just like, okay, Benny, I think I can get them for you, sure.
The store's out of them. I can't get any this week.
I'm like, all right, Mom, can we buy those for my lunch kit? I'm like, okay, sure, we can.
Do you need to get up? You want to shift into part 2 for the patrons, and we can get into all the markets and the financial literacy talk? Yep.
Thank you guys so much for listening. If you're not part of our Discord yet, if you're not part of our Patreon, come on over. Patreon.com/Her Lounge Podcast. Come be a part of Her World. The only way we can grow is by you spreading the word, sharing these episodes, telling other people about our podcast. And you know, if you're not watching on YouTube, that's cool. But if you could at least share our clips, that would be great because without your support, no one else will know about the podcast. And of course, someone had to go on the podcast account and leave a smart ass comment. Good thing no one listens to this podcast. And I just said, well, thank God you just listened to this clip. So dumb. But anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. We'll see y'all next week.